What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today we're going to take a look at Grim. As always, let's go over his deck first. Now, I'm building this deck with few cards in mind, as so many of my subscribers are. Now, I would recommend picking up a healing potion and then just really throwing in whatever consumables you have. Really just a mana and healing potion is probably good enough because you're an ADC and you don't really worry about healing yourself. Pick up a Whirling Wand. Now, this is a 7-point. I don't have enough cards to make it a 6-point yet. Then I have 3 Spear of the Rift Hunters, all built the same with 5 power and 2 in crit. Your Blade of Agora. Now, this is where I put my 3 single-point power cards on. Then I have a Curse of the Leech, which has 4 in Drain and 2 in Strike. Lastly, trade in that Whirling Wand and pick up your upgraded version. That's an 11-point card. All power. Next, let's take a look at Grim's abilities. Suppression Mode is an ability that really just causes a slow for a little bit of mana. Now, when you toggle this ability on, it actually slows you down as well. So you really want to use it and then toggle off, or stay toggled onto it when you know an enemy can't escape. This is a great tool for Grux and really makes up for him not having quite as high damage as the other ranged carry heroes, because you can prevent a hero that doesn't have a solid escape. You can prevent them from getting away from it. Deflector Shield is a 1-second self shield that Grim gets that prevents all damage from one ability. This can be an ultimate or just a gadget bomb, really any ability attack you can deflect. And if you successfully deflect it, you receive a portion of your mana back. And it goes from 25, 40, 55, and 70. But practicing with this shield is key for Grim because it's not super easy to hit every time. Displacement Bomb is a huge lobbed shot that blows enemies away from the area that it hits. So you can hit them towards you or away from you, really whichever, wherever that bomb hits, depending on where the hero is located, they will go away from the blast center. This does deal a decent amount of ability damage, but is mainly used for that displacement. Lastly, Grim's ultimate is GTFO, and this is a targeted shot where you can lock onto an enemy as long as you have vision of them, you personally, not your other team. And once they're locked on, this targeted shot can go through any obstacle, it can travel any distance. It's really almost a complete universal ultimate, except the fact that, you have to have vision on them to actually start it off. Once again, I am playing in that lower, skill level group. So I have a support Aurora, which a support Aurora is a viable option, but she really ends up being more of a run around and kill things Aurora. So I am solo most of this match, and as a Grim, I have one of the worst mobilities for an ADC, as well as, I don't have just a crazy amount of sustain. I do have that knockaway bomb, which is convenient, but it's very hard to survive once an enemy gets on you, especially since we're going against a Greystone and a Chimera. It can be very tricky. Now, I do end up doing fairly well in this lane by myself for the first part of the game, but once we kind of get a few towers down and they start rotating more, I do struggle quite a bit because as an ADC, I cannot, handle ganks, and without my lifesteal or anything like that on, I don't, have a whole lot of sustain on my own. Now, the first thing for me personally that Grim just kind of doesn't do it for me is I feel awkward whenever I shoot with him. The reticle doesn't seem like it's in the center of the screen, and I constantly miss shots, or I'm aiming poorly. That might just be in my head because, you know, he's so much bigger than all the other heroes, or, you know, taller with his little flying guy. But I do have just a little bit of an issue with aiming him. Now, if you see here, I'm trying to run away, but, you know, I can't get away from Chimera. And I probably could have just kept turning and running, but I had a feeling that I was probably going to die, so I was hoping to turn around, get some of those slowdown shots on them, and then turn back around and run. But, you know, either way, I probably would have went down. And, you know, that just really shows you positioning is very important with Grim, just because he is so much slower than some of the other ranged carries. And that displacement bomb, unless, you know, you kind of got it perfected, you can end up knocking enemies closer to you, which is, you know, the exact opposite of what you want to do. Grim is definitely more of a, you know, practiced hero. He is a great carry, and with that slowdown effect, he can really do a ton of damage and keep enemies in the fight that would have otherwise escaped. But it is, you know, worth noting that he suffers from mobility issues. So really just pay attention to your positioning with Grim. Now we end up pushing into this tower a little bit. My Aurora has left me, and I've really been in this lane by myself, and we're not making any progress with towers at this point, so I really want to try to get this tower down. Now, their Greystone has been super aggressive with me, and he's not quite to level 5 yet, so I have been able to really punish him, and I believe all 3 of the kills that I've got, or the 2 kills and the assist, have all been on that Greystone, so he's very, you know, low level, and, you know, since I am at that 5 mark, I am able to do damage. Now, if you see here, I'm using my slowdown to keep him slowed enough to where I can get some damage on him, and then I will go ahead and hit him with my GTFO. I did dip into that tower a little bit too far, and you become stationary once you use that ultimate, so I was just sitting there tanking that tower damage, which could have been disastrous if I was a little lower, but I did manage to pick up that kill, and I'm now going to head back to tower. Here at 12 minutes in, I head to mid lane. FaZe and Yin have been almost a mobile ganking unit. They're not really staying in lane at all. They're just really running around getting kills, and they've done fairly decent at it, actually. But we end up collapsing here in mid. We get this very easy kill on FaZe. I'm trying to get this Chimera, but he's got green buff, but I just really want to slow him down to take that away from him, so if he does ambush somebody, they're not going to take that initial, you know, green buff damage. Countess ends up coming in on us, and I'm able to get that kill fairly easy, and I try to get out. Now, Bellica body blocks me right here, and I end up going down. I might have gone down anyways, but, you know, that body blocking, oh, it's tough. Now, here at 16 minutes in, we've got all of our lanes pushed. I can't get anybody to rotate on Raptors, and our Chimera has really stayed in the jungle, so I've got really nowhere to get farm. And as an ADC, you know, farm is my #1 priority, so I am a little far out of position, or of where I would like to be. Now, if you see there, I used my displacement bomb, and I actually pushed Greystone more towards me, which is not ideal. I'm able to slow him down enough, and he chases me into this tower without having his ult, and I'm not exactly sure why he did that, but we end up securing that kill. I'm going to go ahead and just go back right now, and hopefully we can keep getting some farm. You know, I'll take kills. I would rather, you know, get minion waves so I could actually get a little more farm, because I've killed this Greystone quite a few times now, and he's not giving me near the CXP as I would like, but, you know, I'll take what I can get. Now I'm here back in safe lane, and we've got a little bit of a rotation. I kind of start heading to mid, but I see, you know, hey, they're going to push this tower, and I'm just going to try to hold on to this tower. I've got 2 enemies here. If I can keep vision on them and keep them out of that fight in mid, that might be, you know, a good option for me. And I'm able to, you know, really clean these minions up. I get a couple of hits on Greystone, kind of get them into the tower and kind of separate all the minions. Aurora ends up coming in, and we get this really easy kill on FaZe with that ultimate of hers, and we're able to end up actually getting on this Greystone. I use my displacement bomb to push him back, and if you see, that slowdown effect really affects him poorly. And, you know, also with Aurora's little ring circle, you can use that displacement bomb to push them into that circle. So not only do they get knocked out of position, but they get that damage and that stun or stop effect from Aurora's little Horrorfrost. So our combination is, you know, pretty decent, but we have not had a whole lot of pairings at this point, just because she's kind of been, you know, helping everywhere else. Now, we get a decent way of pushing into this tower right here. I use this displacement bomb, just like I said, to push him into that Horrorfrost, but they end up getting a rotation from Yin, and I go down pretty easy. Now, again, I used my little shield to try to negate some of that damage, but since Chimera and Yin are pretty much basic damage heroes, it really does nothing for them. Now, a little bit later, I end up heading to mid, and they've got, you know, 4 of their heroes here, and I'm going to try to just wrap some things up. I thought that Kai was going to go a different direction, but he didn't. I end up getting that kill, and I used my shield while I was blind just to, you know, avoid anything that hit me. They do have a Countess. We end up, you know, kind of just breaking up from here. We actually got 3 of ours down to their 1. So, you know, it's a really bad time for us to be chasing kills or pushing lanes or anything like that. We kind of need to just defend a little and wait for everybody to spawn in. Now, Greystone is advancing on my lane a little bit, or the safe lane, so I'm going to go ahead and head over there, make sure he doesn't down that tower. We do have a Winion's wave pushing against that off-lane tower, so hopefully we'll be able to make some progress here. I'm able to use that displacement to kind of get Greystone out of there. Now, he starts taking some tower damage, and, you know, he's already pretty low. I did not recently take out his ultimate, so I'm not too worried about him having an ult right now. And if you see, Aurora's heading over behind him, so we're going to get this killed fairly easy. And sure enough, he did have his ultimate, but, you know, it's game over for him. She probably didn't need to ult there, but, you know, securing the kill is worth it every day. Now, I've had just a ton of deaths this game from just being kind of out of position because we don't have a support. Every time, you know, the support does come in or Aurora does come in, she'll, you know, kill a minion or 2 and then she'll leave, and, you know, I'll be pushed way up to, you know, a tower thinking she's going to help me there, and she turns around and leaves. And, you know, since I am Grim, I've got no means of escape at all, and she just uses her little glacial charge and gets out. So I've had a lot of really needless deaths this game, and, you know, that's really painful, but Grim is really a position hero. You need to learn his kit and his position, since, like I said earlier, that mobility is so low and a few things like that. You really want to make sure that, you know, you're paying attention to where you are. Now, I go in on this Yin, I try to get this, you know, GTFO kill on her. I don't end up getting that kill, but that's fine. we ended up getting or securing that kill, Aurora did, so that's great. We get their ADC out, and hopefully we'll be able to make a progress on a tower or something like that here. Unfortunately, their Countess does come in and ends up just absolutely erasing me. Now, this would have been a perfect time for me to use that shield, but just to my, inexperience with Grim, I ended up not being able to use that. We should have made a lot more progress there than we did, but I've kind of noticed, and it seems like a lot of these lower level games that I'm playing, after we pick up a kill or after the team picks up a kill, everybody kind of breaks away and, goes and farms somewhere or something like that. And after getting a kill, that is the perfect time for an objective. You should push a lane, get Raptors, get Prime, anything like that. Really, the only hero I would say that has the ability to break away and not really push a lane near as much would be someone like the jungler, if he's not your main frontliner. He could probably go get green buff or go secure the enemy's green buff, something along those lines, but as long as you're pushing some sort of objective. But in this game, we're really not. And if you see Kai's running back to base with green buff, full health, and full mana, and it's really just kind of a bad situation or a bad game, and really just unexperienced players. Now I've jumped ahead to the kind of final push in this game. We end up taking Prime. They do try to come in, but we're still able to secure that, and that really changes the game. I think if we wouldn't have secured that Prime, it would have been pretty hard for us to get this win just from the way everybody's playing, but we end up getting it, and we're able to really, kind of make some progress here. Now, we pick up this phase kill, a Kai kill, a Greystone, and the Countess, and it's really just going to be game over. But if you look, Yin is actually pushing our safe lane, which doesn't have an inhib right now. So I haven't been able to really trust anybody to, keep my lane safe this game. That's really one reason I haven't been able to rotate near as much. A 4-man wipe, if Yin would have been able to just go over there and clean that up, and with her wave clear, it would have been a really 100% possible. Now, I end up just saying, hey, I don't need to go over there now. Aurora went over there, Yin isn't pushing, so I end up heading to mid, and they actually down 2 of their inhibs pretty quick, so we wrap this game up. Highly recommend, if you want to play him, if you enjoy his kit and everything like that, would highly recommend spending just a ton of time with him to really learn his kit before you just say, hey, I'm gonna just completely, main this hero. He's very fun, and in the right hands, he is almost godlike, but he does need a little bit of practice. Well, if you enjoyed this video, show me some love, leave me a comment, think about subscribing, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.